Hey guys, how's it going? Got a question for you. Who's shaking the jar? Who is shaking the jar? Now, I know I'm shaking this jar, but there's this meme that circulates, and it's been circulating for quite some time about it's a story that if you take 100 red ants and you take 100 black ants and you put them in a jar together, they're gonna just sort of coexist, no problem. They're gonna get along and not attack each other, even though they're different. But if an external agent like me picks up this jar and shakes it, they're gonna attack each other and they're gonna kill each other, because the red ants are gonna think that the black ants had something to do with it, and then the black ants are gonna think these red ant suckers are up to no good. And neither of them knows the true cause of, the agitation that they're both experiencing, the discomfort, maybe the potential, fatal threat that they experience. Maybe a couple of your black ant people have suffered, And so all you can see is, well, there's a different kind of ant in here that must be who caused it. I'm not an ant. I would imagine that's what they think. So again, in line kind of with the last video, is like, who's shaking the jar today? Is the jar being shaken today, do you think? I mean, there is evidence to certainly believe that we live in a society of many different colored ants. We're not just divided in two ways, or see, I don't even like that word, but it's so on the tip of my tongue that we are divided. But we're categorized in many different ways. So we're a multicolored plethora of different ants. And we're attacking each other in different ways, or at odds with each other. It seems that the differences between us as ants is ever growing, and there's always conflict. And so this story is an interesting kind of framework that suggests that the reason we're so conflicted and at odds with each other isn't intrinsic to the other colored ants, but is due to an external agent shaking the jar. So I'm an ant, you're an ant, we're all ants in this story, and I refuse to believe that I'm at odds with anybody for any reason, any significant reason. That I think at the end of the day, what is in common with you and I, and with you and anybody else, is is enough of a reason for me to not fight with you, or not argue with you, or not see you as my enemy. And so my challenge to you is, if the jar gets shaken up, just know that it's being shaken up, and nobody else is doing it. Nobody else that nobody that's, like you is your enemy, and why the jar might be shaken up by an external force is, well, it's easier to, let's say, manage. If I want to, I don't know, if there's too many ants in here, or I want to more easily manage the contents of this jar, I might just let the contents of this jar do that job for me, and keep them at odds so that they don't really know what's happening out here. So, that's really all I have to say about this. And I'd love it, if everybody could really just see that what we have in common is so much more than what we don't have in common. And it doesn't mean that there isn't differences, and that people might have different needs, or people might be less have a harder time in life. But I think that communication and cooperation and negotiation and the understanding, like if the way you approach each other, it comes from a place that, hey, we're fundamentally the same. It doesn't matter what's different. we're like 98% we're the same, and so that means something. You know, it's like if you're married and you and your wife or something are having an argument. What is different about what you love about your partner is much more important than the fact that like they never do the dishes, I would hope, you know, or that they might differ from you in such and such a thing. So let's fight for unity, and by that I mean let's see the good in each other and see how we're similar, and don't buy into the external factors.